Hi, I'm Mark Hamby. Welcome to a brief overview of the 2012 Lamplighter Guild for Creative Disciplines. Many have asked where the concept of the guild came from, and as I studied other guilds in the past, the one that stands out the most was the one in the 15th century. In fact, that's really where the guilds started. In the 15th century, that's where you have Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. Of course, you have the Renaissance period. And I started to study this period and found that it was the most unlikely time for a Renaissance. There were factions, there was political unrest, a lot of rivalry from different families, no real government structure, and just sin was rampant during this time. And so the Renaissance, for there to be a Renaissance in the arts during this time period, was highly unlikely. And so I decided to do a little research and find out what spurred, what motivated, inspired a Renaissance of the arts to occur during that time period. Many of the masters got together and they were tired of the slipshod, shallow craftsmanship and artistic work during that day. And so they got together and they formed a collaborative community called the Guild. Now the word guild is the German word for gold, and back in the early and middle 15th century, the guild became the gold standard of excellence. This collaborative community signed a covenant with each other, and they became part of the guild. During this time, apprenticeships sprung up. Michelangelo, for example, was apprenticed at 6 years old. Leonardo da Vinci lived right down the street from Michelangelo, though a little bit older. The two of them really had a little bit of a rivalry going on. So the guild during this time, they were highly collaborative in their arrangement of work, but they also began competitions on a monthly basis. During this time, the apprentices would be able to see the work of the masters as well as the work of the other apprentices. This, of course, this competition spurred them on to even higher degrees of excellence. You actually see that here in the 21st century, in the late 20th century, where you had Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. You know, you had the Microsoft and Apple competition. You had those competitions in their advertisements and so forth, in which inspired actually Steve Jobs to move in a direction of the artistic value of the Apple computer, which really hit the heart and soul of this generation. They're the ones that went after more of the artistic beauty. Even though they don't have the same profit share as Microsoft, they definitely have their own niche of this generation, and it is in the artistic value of beauty and excellence. And so, as we move forward to today, and we now look at the Lamplighter Guild for Creative Disciplines, here's where the idea came from. I loved watching what was occurring with Francis Schaeffer and Labrie, and I thought if we can just do something similar to Labrie, only alter it in that we would bring master teachers from around the world, teachers that had already reached the highest levels of excellence in their giftedness, as well as they really loved the Lord. They were passionate about Christ and serving Him in beauty and excellence. And so God uniquely put together an arrangement of Lamplighter Theater, the artists that worked with Lamplighter Theater, and here we were working together, producing some of the greatest dramas in the world, and the idea just was there. Why not allow us collectively to start our own guild, to come together from around the world into one location, and not just any location, but a location that would inspire people in ways that words cannot describe. And that's where Mount Mohonk comes in, the Mohonk Castle.